everybody.
Yo.
I am the armchair quarterback, Dizzle. I'm here with the wrestling encyclopedia, Dutchie. I'm here with the man that puts the E in everlasting gobstopper, Eric.
What up?
And a legend of the show has returned, and he's came back to grace us with his presence. Cleneth's back.
What's up?
Welcome back,
it's good to be here. We're here for a special episode. We're here to pay tribute and to do like a retrospective on somebody that passed away last week that meant a lot to the wrestling business, Hulk Hogan. So we're here to talk about his wrestling career and the legendary career that it was and how long it spanned and all that good stuff. Our favorite matches and moments. I think the best place to start is our first introduction to Hulk Hogan. Like the first time any of us ever saw him. And Eric, I'm going to start with you. What was the first time you saw him on your TV screen? Was it the cartoon? Was it the fucking...
I think from what I remember, it was probably when he turned heel and joined Scott Hall and Nash.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was when he 95, maybe. But what I remember is when he turned heel. But it could have been before that, but yeah.
He can't remember. Those were wild times when he was 10 years old.
Yeah, he was drinking a lot of milk.
It was 30 years ago.
Drinking a lot of milk, snorting a lot of chalk.
He definitely wasn't fucking eating his vitamins and saying his prayers. That's for damn sure.
No.
All right.
Yeah, from what I remember, it's when he turned heel, but it could have been before.
All right, Doug.
All right, so my first like vague memory of him tape of the main event on NBC, the first one that they did in prime time in February of '88, and it was Hogan Andre in the rematch, and I had the vivid memory, the vague memory of Hogan cutting the promo after getting beat, after getting screwed out of the title. So that would be my first memory.
Yeah.
That I can kind of remember. Now, again, I was only like a year and a half, 2 years old.
That's insane that your memory goes far. That it goes back that far.
Yeah.
You were watching it.
I can't remember to tell you to bring your charger into the house, but I can damn well remember to tell you, you know.
You have a lot of wrestling memories, Doug, don't you? In your head.
I was making an example.
Yeah. No, I'm not making fun of you. I'm just saying that you're
I'm not even listening to you. Don't worry about it.
I'm giving you a compliment.
My first memory of Hogan wasn't when I was 2.
6 months.
Yeah. Cleneth, what was yours?
Mine's had to be, I guess, really the NWO. The famous heel turn.
Yeah.
That was when I hear about this whole each environment guy, pro wrestling. It was a big talk of school. Now, mind you, I don't watch WCW, but I hear Hogan goes to WCW and here's how. And I remember like old videos of Hogan kids. I got an action figure, Hulk Hogan. Now this everybody's upset now, and this guy they look up to is a bad guy turning heel, the NWO, trying to ruin wrestling.
You know, these guys don't have memories of Hogan until they're 9, 10 years old. Damn it, I had a memory of Hogan when I was 2.
Well, yeah,
I'm gonna remember like 2 years old, right? I had Hogan action figures, yes, but I was a kid. I wanted wrestling action figures. I had no idea who the guy was.
Yeah,
that's actually how I was with a lot of the other action figures I had. Like I kind of knew who the characters were in like some of the cartoons I watched, but I would just go and if like they were out of like wrestling figures, I would just go pick up another action figure, put it in the cart, and if I was shopping with mom or grandma and grandpa, I got the figure. If I was shopping with dad, it got put back. But that's how I was with like a lot. Like I have Police Academy action figures, and I have no idea. Well, I had them back in the day. I could not tell you who the hell they were except for I knew there was Police Academy because that's what I had written on the shirt.
How about you, Daniel?
My first memory of Hogan.
Yeah.
Not
your first memory of Police Academy.
My first memory of Hogan was probably when I was probably like 5 or 6. But I remember around 2003. So I was born in 97, so that's like 6, right?
Yeah.
So around 2003, and I remember watching. I think Golden era Hulk is probably the first thing I ever seen. It's probably like him and Andre stuff, and him and Boss Man and the Saturday Night's Main Event stuff. Probably stuff like. But the first thing I remember like live seeing is him as like Mr. America on SmackDown when he was. Specifically, I remember as a kid. That's what it was, right? Mr. America.
Yeah,
and it was with him with the Star Spangled Mask and everything. And I remember vividly the him and Vince lie detector test.
Right.
Which was fucking hilarious. When him and Vince did the lie detector.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Are you Mr. America?" He's like, "No, brother." Or he's like, "Are you Hulk Hogan?" "No, brother." And then it's like, he's telling the truth.
Yeah.
And then Vince sat in the hot seat and he asked him all these fucked up things. And he's like,
Yeah.
No. And then it's like, lie. That was a good segment.
Yeah. I remember like back when you were like really little, like, 1.5, 2 years old, whatever it was, and showing you like you were like you knew what the Rock was because you could say Rock.
Yeah, Rock was my favorite.
Rock or Stone Cold, but you called him Coco. All right, and it's just like, all right, you want to watch wrestling? Rock. And it's just like, but I wanted to watch like one of my old school tapes. So like I had WrestleMania 4 and The Rock back at that time was Don Morocco. The Rock Don Morocco. So I said, "So you want to watch old Rock?" Okay. So I put on old Rock and you're like, no. So me hoping that you were dumb and couldn't tell the difference. At 2 years old, you still outsmarted me.
At least it tracks.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Hogan was just like everybody knew who Hulk Hogan was.
Yeah, he was the man.
And it's funny because that like everybody knew who Hulk Hogan was because he was always in commercials, the movies, all the merchandise that came out for him. I mean, schools were releasing school supplies like folders and binders and notebooks with Hogan's like picture. And like I had a Hulk Hogan backpack.
Yeah.
When I was in the first grade. And I had a Hulk Hogan backpack. I had a Hulk Hogan lunchbox. Obviously the figures, Hulk Hogan toothbrush. Like there was also
yeah, all the merch.
Yeah, because like anytime anything wrestling came out, no matter what it was, it's like, all right, yeah, I want that. And it was usually Hogan's face on the merchandise. Although like in like 90, 91, 89, 90, 91, 92, they started putting other guys on like the on like the school supplies, on the folders, binders, like toothbrushes. It wasn't just Hogan that got a toothbrush. Like there was a Savage one, there was a Warrior one, there was a Boss Man one.
Yeah,
because they were beginning to be some of the top merch sellers. They were matching the merch sales with Hogan. Yeah. So was LOD. So like all that merchandise back in now nobody had more merchandise than Hogan because everybody wanted Hogan stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, occasionally you'll have somebody that goes, "I want the Big Boss Man one," but that's usually just the Hogan ones were sold out.
Well, two of the biggest selling shirts of all time in the history of pro wrestling are the Hulkamania shirt, the yellow and red one, and the NWO shirt, which is he's like kind of responsible for both. So those are still too, like I see people that don't give a shit about wrestling still outside back in high school and stuff that would have the NWO shit or would have a Hulkamania shirt. Usually you're a fan if you're wearing a Hulkamania, but yeah, I mean that along with the Stone Cold shirt, the 316, that one sold a lot too. But yeah, I mean he was 80s wrestling.
Yeah,
that is, I mean that's Hulk Hogan. And let's start talking about some of the match. Who do we think is his greatest rival? This is a hard one.
In order for it to be greatest rival, the rivalry would have had to have gone both ways.
See,
For me, it's Sting.
It's Cena?
Sting.
no,
Oh, Sting. I thought he said Cena. I was like, Cena.
I would say Piper.
Those are two great responses, Sting and Piper.
All right. I agree. I could see validity in both,
Yeah.
especially Cleneth, because they built, if it wasn't for the two of them going at it, the golden era, like that feud helped start the golden era.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna throw another one out there, and I'm gonna say Andre.
Yeah. I mean, those are the three. I think if you're going to have three of Hogan's greatest rivals,
And Flair.
really those three. Flair to an extent. I know Flair said they had magic. He had me fucking laughing when he was like, we had magic, not like me and Steamboat, but we had magic. It wasn't as good as that one, but it was still good.
Now, I did watch like the '94 Bash of the Beach.
Well, yeah, because
Yes,
that's
they
on
do.
WWE's YouTube channel, right? Didn't they just put that out there? Yeah.
Yeah, I put the whole pay per view out there.
Yeah.
It was already on the cock.
Well, yeah, but more
I was gonna watch it just so it's like, it was just live, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll see.
Yeah.
And
I got nothing to do for the next 2 hours.
no, I fast forward to the main event.
Not a boy.
Hulk and Rick did have good chemistry. I wouldn't say Rick's his greatest rival, but they did have good chemistry. I'm going to throw out a weird one and go Paul Orndorff.
Well, and the funny thing is the way it started, they were rivals, and then they became friends, and then they became rivals again.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to go probably Macho Man.
I was going to
It's
say
gotta
something. I would say on that logic, I would have said Macho Man all the way.
Yeah, Macho Man over Orndorff. for
Well, the thing is,
sure. For the Mega Powers exploding,
Yeah,
we're
the
way
Mega
better
Po-
than Paul Orndorff and
Yeah.
Hogan breaking up.
and if you think about it, well, and Orndorff never really got a clean win over. I mean, Savage, like, because I have said before that Hogan never put Savage over clean, but there were times back in the mid 80s when Savage was doing his first heel run where they did do matches where Hogan or where Savage would win by countout.
Yeah.
It's obviously to keep the story going. And I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but Savage was one of the original plans for WrestleMania 2. It was going to be Hogan and Savage.
Yeah.
Vince had planned that because Vince had it. He was kind of hemming and hawing between Savage and Bundy, or King Kong Bundy, and King Kong Bundy, who hated Randy Savage at the time, because Randy Savage had eyes and pointed out the fact that Bundy was fat, and said that Bundy was like a prime candidate for a heart attack. So Bundy wasn't a fan. King Kong Bundy went up to Vince and said, "My spot. I'll take the WrestleMania 2 match." He goes, "I poop bigger than Savage." So, no, that's exactly. He actually said that. He said that in an interview.
Eric liked that.
He's just like, "My poops are bigger than Randy Savage. I get the spot."
That match is not thought about at all, though. And,
The cage match?
yeah.
No, because all they did one angle that they shot like a month before.
Yeah.
And then that was like all they really needed. And then like they did promos of Hulk in a hospital bed.
Yeah.
So it was just, I don't know if Hogan and Savage would have drawn the money early on in 86 that like they would draw later on. But I mean, it was a possibility.
The match would have been better.
Yeah.
Even though the Bundy cage match isn't bad, it's just not like
Well,
something you think about a lot.
well, when I say Hogan and Savage, I don't look at it just like the Mega Power just bloating. I look at what they did in WCW as well.
100%. 100%.
Yep.
I agree.
I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of lot of feuds Hogan did was like redos of NWCW was everybody coming over for WWE. The Warrior, Piper.
Yeah, but those Piper and Macho Man actually worked though.
Yeah.
That were Ultimate Warrior.
The Ultimate Warrior one was like the worst they ever did.
That was fucking awful. The Halloween Havoc 98 was fucked. Compared to that, like that, especially Hogan trying to throw the fire and fuck it up, and Goldberg and DDP like having a great match, but the feed cutting off so nobody could see it.
Yeah, because nobody in the fucking WCW office knew enough to call, because you have a format, you go 3 hours. It's not like nowadays when you're on fucking Peacock and you could go as long as you want.
Yeah.
You're on pay-per-view, you have to go the allotted time that you're given. Now, if you structure a show that's going to be 3.5 hours, you call every fucking cable system you're going to be on.
Yeah.
And you say, hey, look, just so you know, we're going 3.5. You know, they called maybe 1/3 of the systems they were on.
Yeah.
So that's like the idiots in the company that don't know how to dial a fucking phone.
Yeah.
But as far as like Hogan and Savage goes, they did do some really good stuff in WCW, and some people could say, oh, well, you know, Hogan always went over and all that, but that was also by design. And like him and I were talking about it earlier, when Hogan beat Savage for the title the night after Spring Stampede, after Savage got it from Sting, Savage couldn't move. He blew out both his knees. Like his knees were fucked.
Yeah, he had to lose the belt.
And I mean, he tried to work like as long as possible after that, but Bischoff did not want Hulk Hogan to beat Sting. So they had Macho do it, and then Macho was just like, all right, fine, I'll drop the fucking
like, fuck it.
Yeah.
That was a good match, though, the Hogan Savage Nitro title match.
The only thing I didn't like about it was Bret Hart getting involved after spending 8 weeks.
Of course, that was stupid. Anything with Bret Hart and WCW besides like the Benoit match, the Owen tribute, and there's a couple of hidden gems in there from him, but storyline wise, Bischoff had no fucking clue, and that's not like, and I think that's known information at this point. They had no clue what to do.
Bret Hart was flopping WCW.
It was so, but it wasn't Bret's fault. It was so easy to book him and Hogan and Starrcade and just call it a fucking day.
But the thing is that Bischoff, again, you know, it's been talked about before. Everybody wanted Undertaker and Sting in WWE. Vince McMahon didn't. Yeah. Vince McMahon makes the call. I mean, not anymore, thank God.
Bischoff made the call.
Bischoff made the call,
but it was
in WCW. You know, and Hogan could have, and, you know, Bret Hart says that Hogan never wanted the match. Hogan never wanted the match in the WWF because to him it didn't make sense, babyface versus babyface. In WCW, when one's a babyface and one's a heel, it makes sense. I think it was just because Bret Hart assumed that he would go over, and Bischoff was just like, I don't know. And instead of having the argument, he's like, you know, we'll just never do the fucking match.
The thing is, though, is they could have do the match once, even if you want to have Hogan beat him. Like, you could have Bret Hart turn heel, because even his heel stuff in WCW is fun because he's a good heel. Bret Hart is a damn good heel. Better than people give him credit for.
Yeah.
But NWO is not Bret Hart at all. That like is everything he doesn't represent. When I look at Bret Hart, I don't think of like the NWO. That's the last thing. I think.
No.
Technical wrestling. I don't think of it like gang beat ups and stuff, and like just jumping people. I think of actual wrestling in the ring. So he never belonged there. But he had the ability. He was just booked bad. But Hogan, so is your guys' favorite stuff, since you were introduced to him? And listen, WCW is my favorite era. I've said it on the show multiple times. It was your favorite Hogan stuff from WCW?
I will say, at the time being No, because I didn't really watch Hogan until after they got bought out. Like rewatching it now, I will say yes, the NWO stuff I love. It made me want to say I wish I watched it live.
Yeah.
But watching it once it came, the
It made me
NWO
watch them
invaded.
live.
Yeah. Once watching the NWO come finally joined the WWE and did the invasion with The Rock, and then Hogan winning the title one last time, going over Triple H and dropping it a month later to The Undertaker. That farewell type of thing. I like that.
That is pretty sick.
I mean, I'm going to say that my favorite stuff of his is in the Golden Era.
Really? Well, I mean, yeah, because he was a heel in WCW and you were always rooting. But you were never a Hogan guy.
No, and the funny thing is that like with Hogan, because Hogan was so popular, but looking at it now, it's just like, well, even back then, my favorites were Piper, obviously when Piper was babyface, Savage when Savage was babyface, Jake the Snake, I liked Hacksaw, I liked Kerry Von Erich, and I liked Ultimate Warrior, and the Bushwhackers. That's a poker game right there.
And you've always appreciated everybody on the card, though, too, which is it makes you a great fan.
Well, and also too, like, you know, you could add like a lot of the baby faces to that list as like, you know, I was always rooting for the baby faces. Now there are some that are just like, yeah, and there's some like I never bought Sergeant Slaughter as a baby face, even though he did like the whole G.I. Joe thing.
Yeah, which was huge.
I was never a Hogan fan myself, but his NWO stuff was fantastic. It made me made me root against him.
I agree, but I
cheer for him. I loved it.
Yeah, a lot of people cheered for the NWO, but I love his golden era stuff too because I love a good main event in wrestling. I love a good big fight feel. I love a good Cody versus Roman. They're like the Austin Rock 17, Hogan Andre. There's things like when you say the two names and you go to sit down and watch it, you got the goosebumps. And like that big fight feel. A great match is a great match, but when you're walking up to I know a lot of people shit on Kevin Nash Goldberg, Circuit 98, but it had that big fight feel. When you're walking into it and there's the gravitas. All of those golden era like main events and stuff with Hogan, they all felt that way.
Yeah.
When he would walk in against Boss Man, Earthquake, anybody, it would always be he's like a badass and like it's like that big fight feel, that spectacle. He would always bring that. And then later on when he's going against Goldberg and WCW and Sting and there was a lot of botched finishes in WCW for sure. And then not a lot of people went away from a match feeling happy a lot of the times. But he still had great performances and did great heel work for sure. Because he made Goldberg look like $1 million.
Yeah. And that's the thing is he made a lot of guys. Like if you look at a lot of his babyface stuff in WWF, and during that golden era, and a lot of the guys, like everybody says, oh, Hogan doesn't sell. Hogan sold his ass off until it came to the part where you had to pin him, and then he would Hulk up, or kick out, Hulk up, 3 punches, big boot, leg drop, and that would be it. Yeah. But that was always his finish.
Yeah.
Okay. But there would be times he would sell the shit. I remember Survivor Series 89, and it was him, Jake Roberts, and Demolition versus Ted DiBiase, the Powers of Pain, and Zeus.
Yeah.
By the way, out of everybody in that match, Ted DiBiase and Jake Roberts, the only 2 guys that could work. All right. Nothing against Demolition, but Demolition were more brawlers. Yeah. Although Barry Darsow could wrestle.
Yeah.
All right. So Demolition were made, Powers of Pain for some reason, eliminated both members of Demolition. I don't know why they were trying to make Powers of Pain look strong. Jake got beat up And by the way, the only person on the heel side that got pinned in that match was DiBiase. Everybody else got disqualified because they're all beating the shit out of Hogan.
Yeah.
And Hogan, like he got his ass kicked so much that at one point he was unconscious in the corner and he's getting choked out by Zeus, getting his neck kind of wrung by Zeus, getting a spiked pile driver by the Powers of Pain, getting trapped in the $1 Million Dream by DiBiase. Hogan did sell. Yeah. Now, towards the end, when it was time for the finish, big boot leg drop, he won. Yeah. And by the way, the match went almost 30 fucking minutes. And when there are only two guys in an 8-man tag can work, 30 minutes is too fucking long. But still, the crowd was just into it.
The crowd was always into it, no matter what he did. Yeah. And then when he turned heel at the perfect time and they were into it again. Like the fact that he had a really strong babyface career and a really strong heel career.
Yeah.
Like he has done it all. And like people still say like Cena best heel turn. No, it was Hogan. Hogan still got the number one heel turn all the time.
I personally think Cena's with me.
Even though I do think it's a cooler moment, the whole look at the Rock, like the whole "Hey Rock, go fuck yourself" mixed with the hug, mixed with the look and everything. I do think that's a cooler moment than just dropping a leg on Randy Savage. But I will say that the ultimate heel turn is Hulk Hogan's.
Yeah, and
the story that followed was better.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, the story of the NWO that followed the Hulk Hogan heel turn was way better than blaming the fans every single week.
That's why I say it's weak.
And that's why Cody's getting the belt back at SummerSlam, Cleneth.
No, he's not. Get over it yourself, man. He's not.
I'm a crybaby, and Cody's getting the belt back.
The double turn better
Cody Crybaby, he's going to just cry on. It's not his time.
It has to be a double turn, doesn't it?
I'm hoping that you're right on this. And the reason why I'm hoping that you're right is because SummerSlam is probably not going to be over till like close to 11 o'clock on Sunday night.
Yeah.
And I don't want to stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning with these two jackasses texting each other back and forth in the group text when I got to get up at 5 o'clock in the fucking morning. Like that drives me nuts every fucking WrestleMania Sunday.
Privately.
That's why, the last time, Eric started texting, and I'm like, after 11, shut the fuck up. We'll talk tomorrow. So I'm hoping, because if you're right, Cleneth's not going to say a fucking thing. All right. We might not hear from him back on the show for like another 3 weeks. But if he's right, we're not going to hear the fucking end of it.
Cleneth, I'll message you privately.
Cody's winning.
What happened, yo?
Punk's beating Gunther. Cody's
winning. Hey, I'll give you Punk. I'll give you that. And the only reason why I still hold a question mark because I still believe Seth Rollins is not really hurt. I still believe Seth Rollins is going to come out, cash in Money in the Bank, and walk out champ.
I fucking hope he doesn't.
And I do believe Saturday night's main event was nothing but like a.
I think Seth getting some scenes from Cody after he wins is better.
I would never wish any injury on anybody, but I was getting sick of Seth Rollins, so I'm kind of happy with the climate of where we're at right now.
And that's why I find it hard to believe that Seth Rollins is really hurt.
You know what's funny is the fact that LA Knight went over in that match, and then that following Monday he got beat by Braun Breaker in the gauntlet, and we haven't seen LA Knight since.
Yeah. No LA Knight, no Damian Priest, just Jelly Roll.
Well, Damian Priest is wrestling Aleister Black tonight.
Yeah.
But yeah, LA Knight has not been on WWE TV since the Raw after Saturday night's main event. He gets beat, and where the fuck is he?
Yeah.
What's the update on Drew McIntyre? Is he showing?
He's back in the States.
Okay.
Ooh.
Hey. You know who's boo? Your girl Nikki Bella being back. I hate that. I've been waiting to talk to you about that. She does not deserve to be wrestling again.
I'm not. You know what? As much of a fan of Nikki Bella I was, I'm not. I was done after the whole first return. I was cool with the Royal Rumble appearances, but her being back only proves that she's only doing it for the money.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much what it is. When you have to be the one to pay the fucking child support, which, by the way, everybody's just like, oh, poor Nikki. You know, she's going through a divorce. Thank you. She's going through a divorce. Okay, but here's the thing. She's paying the child support because she was the one who hit her husband. Okay? When that happens, when you are the aggressor, whether it be throwing a shoe, throwing a thong, whatever the fuck she threw at him.
I think it was a shield, but I'm not exactly. I forgot.
I think that's what it is. I just wanted to say thong for some reason.
That would do that much damage.
But I'm just saying. Well,
Like, you're not gonna get a black eye from throwing a thong.
well, her ex-husband's a professional dancer. Who knows? But like, you know, she was the aggressor. Therefore, yes, the judge is going to take his side. And you know, you got to pay child support. You should not have thrown your shoe at the guy, whether he deserved it. And I'm not saying the guy didn't, because, you know, we usually do deserve to get something thrown at us. I mean, I rather personally it be a thong than a shoe, because thong doesn't hurt as much.
He said that.
But well, anyway. But the thing is, now her coming back, she needs money because her father-in-law does, or her stepfather is no longer her stepfather.
What, did you get divorced though?
And her sister's not going to give her money.
Wait. The mother divorced them?
Yeah, the mother did divorce Laurinaitis after the whole. I mean, well,
wow.
I think they divorced.
I don't know.
And then, like, you know,
no more Total Bellas, no more the Total Divas, nothing to keep us track on it.
She's not raking in any more of that money, so she has to.
But she has a podcast.
She has a podcast.
Go to win. Any jackass can have a podcast. We're living proof of that.
Yeah, but we have a podcast. She has a podcast and her own clothing line. I mean, Birdie V is kind of good. Then you got the wine or spirits thing she has going on.
We need a clothing line.
I just want to fit in all my clothes.
Yeah, I'm running out of time for that. All right, Hulk Hogan. What are some underrated matches? Like some really good matches that nobody talks about. I'm not talking about Andre, obviously your Saturday Night's Main Event, the first one. I'm talking about some like low-key hidden gems. I can think of one. I don't remember the date, but him and Brock Lesnar tore the fucking house down on an episode of SmackDown one time. Do you remember?
That was when Brock put him out for a while, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But Hogan was whooping ass in the match, and then Brock obviously destroyed him.
Yeah.
But it was a really good back and forth where he looked very good. Then he put Brock over.
Yeah. Hogan and HB. Oh, the oversell?
Yeah.
That was a good. See, the thing is that even I didn't really know what the backstory was at the time, and I was just like, oh, Sean's just being over theatric. But then come to find out that they couldn't agree on like a finish or something like that because they wanted to get 2 matches out of it. And Hogan said, okay, brother, I'll do 2 matches. I can go over 2 times. And Shawn Michaels is just like, fuck you. And then he oversells. It was, if you did not know the backstory, it was still a good match.
Yeah.
It's a fun match. But I mean,
what about Randy Orton?
That was
Legend versus Legend Killer.
Randy Orton match. That was technically that's his last WWE match of all time.
Yeah. Last WWE match, which, you know, they thought Orton won, but Hogan got his foot on the rope, and then Hogan ended up winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was a good match. I'm gonna go all the way back to a Saturday Night's Main Event in I think it was March of '86. Hogan and Terry Funk.
That's yeah.
Rest in peace to Terry Funk too.
Yeah. So, because that's like underrated, because you know you don't really hear of Hogan and Funk, working with
Funk's
it.
dead.
Terry Funk passed away. So this is what's fucked up. Last August, it was kind of like the same situation with Ozzy Osbourne and Hogan. Terry Funk died on a Wednesday. Bray Wyatt died on a Thursday.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think we were still on Block. Did we do a show on both?
Yeah, and I think it was, or no, we might have been on.
No, we're on Black Talk.
I think it was on one of our last shows on Block Talk.
Yeah, one of our last shows that we could get to work.
Our anniversary.
Him and Earthquake's underrated rivalry.
Yeah,
and his stuff with Yoko is pretty good too. Besides that WrestleMania moment, obviously.
Are you talking about when he stole the WWE title from Yokozuna?
No, I'm talking about after Yoko hurt him and he left the company. That was a pretty cool angle.
that King of the Ring. Yeah. The WrestleMania thing,
not that good.
Which here's the funny thing. Like everybody always asks the question, what happened to Hogan's eye? Because Randy Savage has told multiple people that he's the one that punched Hogan in the face. Okay. Now, Hogan has denied that because Hogan didn't really want to say anything bad about Randy, which is funny to me. People give Hogan a lot of shit, oh, you ruined Savage's life and all that. Hulk Hogan has never said a bad thing about Randy Savage. Randy Savage has said many, many bad things about Hulk Hogan. And I love Randy Savage, but it's just like Hogan refuses to talk bad about him. All you have to do is give Randy Savage a quarter and say, give me 3 bad paragraphs about Hulk Hogan and you'll get him.
He turns into Bret Hart real quick.
Yeah. Like Randy Savage, he despised Hulk Hogan for the longest time. Yeah. And it sucks, but yeah, so Randy Savage has always said, oh yeah, I punched Hogan in the face the day before WrestleMania 9. Now Hogan says, and Jimmy Hart says that it was a jet ski accident, that the jet ski actually flopped up and hit Hogan in the face. And Jimmy Hart even told a more, extended version of the story to where they didn't think the doctor was going to clear Hogan because of how bad the face looked. Hogan told the doctor, oh, this is just makeup from a movie I did. And Jimmy Hart said the doctor believed him. Now, if you're a doctor and you believe that, a guy's face swollen out to here, and he can't open his fucking eyes, right? Because he got smacked in the face with a fucking jet ski, or he can't open one eye. If you're a doctor and you believe, oh, it's just a makeup job for a movie, you need to go back to medical school and give them back your fucking medical license. Yeah. Because you shouldn't even be playing a game of Operation.
Operation was a good game.
It is a great game.
Yeah, but
by the way,
prize for winning a game of Operation should not be a medical license.
Sure it was, but I'm owed a few.
By the way, tomorrow is our anniversary.
And today's Hulk Hogan Day. Tomorrow's our anniversary?
For our first show.
On YouTube, right?
Yep.
Or on here?
Yeah.
How long has it been?
A year.
August 2nd.
Yeah.
August 2nd, 2024.
Look at us.
Yeah.
Look at us, fucks.
I gotta order Eric flowers.
Yeah. Of course.
I'll order Cleneth flowers.
Then Cleneth's got to order us flowers. It goes around.
You keep telling yourself that.
I was supposed to say, I don't think he's going to do that. I have a hunch.
He's not a team player.
Nope. I am not.
Talk a little bit about Hogan and the AWA. I saw a match with him and Nick Bockwinkel the other day that was fucking amazing. And I do think that him and he had a lot of chemistry with Mr. Bockwinkel.
He did. And the funny thing about that is he's in the AWA and he's managed by Luscious Johnny Valiant, who is a useless putz in his own right. But he was so he was really good as a heel, but then they wanted to try something different with him, so they turned him into a babyface, and he was getting really good reactions, and he had already done the Rocky movie.
Yeah.
Okay, he was already Thunderlips. So they bring him in and they do all this, stuff with, stuff in the AWA with him and Bockwinkel, and it looked like he would win the title. But then, Vern kept pushing it back and pushing it back.
And doing false finishes.
Yeah, and doing false finishes to where Vince McMahon could see this and is just like, you know what? I want to go national. I want to put all these other territories out of business. Or not even put them out of business, but compete with them. But his way of competing is putting you out of business.
Taking your talent, buying your television, and putting you out of fucking business.
I mean, that's how you compete. I mean, that's
gotta compete, pal.
Gotta compete by fucking So, but Vince could see it's like Hogan's a star. He should be a world champion. So that's what Vince did. And, but Hogan getting to work, and that's where he started perfecting his promos, especially with Mean Gene. And, he had really good chemistry with guys like Dr. D. David Schultz and Bockwinkel and Jesse Ventura, among others, Ken Patera, Crusher Blackwell. A lot of those guys, and obviously Bobby Heenan, that adversarial manager, wrestler, chemistry.
Yeah.
To which, like, when Hogan went over to the WWF, he brought with him a list, and he told Vince, he goes, I want each one of these guys from the AWA because these are who I like working with. I want Mean Gene because he does a really good job with my interviews. So Hogan made sure to surround, and Hogan's actually always done a good job at this, surrounding himself with the right people.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Eric Bischoff might disagree because Hogan was responsible for bringing Honky Tonk Man and Brutus Beefcake into WCW.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys like Adam Sandler with his movies. Like, if Hulk's coming to town, he's bringing all his boys. Like, he's one of those guys that gets all his homies a job, which whether you think it's merited or not, or you respect that or not, he's one of those guys that's loyal to his boys and always brings, like, the Nasty Boys always end up having a job. like the people and I love the Nasty Boys, but by the time they got to TNA, I was like, why? It's like, yeah, friends with Hogan. So Hogan, he had that power and he had that ability. And his WCW contract was fucking crazy. And the fact that he had to get like 15% of the gate or something.
Yeah.
Like, he used to, like, even though people like want to talk about him it was undoubtable that he cared about the business. Cannot be overstated. As a global super, he revelized his short. I completely agree. His influence, yes. Completely agree.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, and that's what he did. And he is the guy that kind of made sure the boys got paid more because he was bringing in the houses so everybody could get more money. So even though he, like, you can say what you want, he made sure he got paid, which that's what every single, like, human being that wants to, like, work and take care of their family does, is try to get that money. But he also, he was kind of responsible. Like he brought the house. That's why Eric Bischoff's comment was the ultimate, like, tribute comment saying thank you for the house, Hulkster.
Yeah.
And especially coming from Eric, because he's like a promoter that made a lot of money because of him.
He got him and Savage both got paid $1.2 million for the match at WrestleMania 5.
Really?
Yeah. Or at least that's what Brutus Beefcake actually said. Because apparently,
Oh God.
Well, because apparently Hulk showed him the check.
Oh, okay.
And he goes, yeah, brother, I got paid $1.2 million for WrestleMania. Which is weird because like that card wasn't necessarily because they were in a 20,000 seat, sports complex or a 20,000 seat event center. Maybe not even 20,000 in Trump Plaza, right? Yeah. And in 1987, he wrestles Andre, and Jim Cornette tells a story about how Jim Barnett, who was kind of the booker at the time, or like help with the book, no, he wasn't the book. He was talent relations.
Yeah,
and he wrote the check for Andre and Hogan. Wrote him a check for $250,000 a piece. And Vince looked at Jim Barnett and said, "Are you out of your fucking mind?" Ripped up those checks and wrote both guys a check for $750,000.
Yeah,
because it's like it was the biggest match we could have, biggest outcome we could have. They need more money. So yeah, Hogan always got paid pretty big, but that's always why guys would rather work the A loop, which is why it's called the A loop, instead of working. I think a lot of guys would have rather been co-main with Hogan in the A-Town than main event the B-Town, because they know, like, Roddy Piper and Rick Martel know that, they could probably have a good match in the main event of the B-Town.
Yeah.
But nothing is going to beat Hogan defending the title against Savage.
Could Vern have went national with Hogan? Because they were already doing the Hulkamania shtick and people were loving it.
Well, they were. So, according to Greg, who, can fabricate a good story himself.
Greg Gagne.
Yeah. Greg Gagne, son of Vern Gagne. Yeah. They had locked in a CBS special for April of '84.
Yeah.
And they were going to have Andre come in. Vern had called Vince Sr. and said, "I need Andre. We're going to do some battle royals, and I want him to work with Hogan." So they said, "Okay, you got him." Well, according to Greg, when Andre came in, Andre was told by Vince Jr., "See if you can talk Hulk into wanting to come work for us full time."
Yeah.
So Andre came in and to do the battle royals, and the guys were like, "Andre, how you doing? Leave me alone, boss." Apparently he was miserable.
Yeah.
And he went to Hulk and he said, "Boss, maybe you should come work for Vince Jr. He wants to go national." So him and Vince had a conversation, and he went over there.
Yeah.
Now, they were slated for a CBS special where Hogan was finally going to win the title, but then they lost Hogan, so they lost the special. But the problem is Hulk didn't know. Hulk thought he was getting fucked around.
Well, yeah, because Vern did try to play some shit and be like, I'm taking like
he wanted 50% or no, 75% of the Japan pay, I think.
Well, and 50% of the merch or something. He's like, I'm taking this much, or I'm taking a lot of your merch. So, and Hogan's like, no, you're
I think
not.
he even wanted the royalties to Rocky.
Yeah. And Hogan's like, no, you're not. No, you're fucking not doing that. And that's even on that AWA video.
Yeah.
Him saying that. No, you're not. And So Hogan, he left. But if they would have done CBS with him and Bockwinkel and him winning the title of Bockwinkel on CBS, I think wrestling history might have been a little different.
Yeah.
I don't know if Vern had the foresight to be the guy. You know what I mean? Like, Vern was no Vince when it came to that. He wasn't that visionary that Vince was. No offense to Vern.
Vern couldn't
promoter.
look ahead.
Yeah. Great promoter. Great territory promoter. And great for, like, branching out and going out on his own. And he kind of did that, like, you know, compared to the other guy. But he was never going to, like, you needed someone with, like, the chutzpah of Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Vern was a little stuck in the times.
Yeah, because they all had that handshake agreement to where you don't interfere in our territory.
Mm-hmm.
And Vince McMahon, even though Vince, what he did was morally wrong because he went back on his word. By the way, everybody does that nowadays.
Yeah.
Like that's why like your word, a lot of people's words really don't mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
If you don't believe me, watch Big Brother. But like
that's another story we have to talk about.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah, not on this show. But like Vern or like Vince went against like that agreement of all right, you stay out of our territory, we'll stay out of yours. Vince wanted to go national because Vince felt like he had enough ideas and he wasn't enough of a visionary that, and he could develop larger than life characters, which by the way, he did.
Yeah.
He
was always going to do that. I mean, he had Hogan, he had Andre, he had the guys. He bought up a lot of the others. I mean, we know how, you know, Vince took over. Hogan was obviously the most important puzzle piece in all of that, in doing that. But I don't know if Vern got AW had a hell of AWA had the hell of a roster. They had a great roster.
Yeah.
They had very talented people. And, you know, with somebody else in charge, and I'm not trying to slam Vern Gagne. Vern's a legend of his time. But I think it needed to be Vince to take it national. There was a couple other people that might have been able to do it, but it was most likely going to be Vince. Because everybody else was kind of, like you said, had morals. Like you had to have that combination of not giving a fuck what people think and like screwing some people over, burning some bridges, and also like you know, being a little selfish.
Yeah.
But also having balls too.
Right. So when AWA ran Chicago, they always ran it. I think it was at the one of the pavilions.
Yeah.
That sat about 10 to 12,000 people. They never ran Rosemont. Yeah. Rosemont Horizon. When Vince took over and Vince started running Chicago, Vince always aimed for the bigger arenas. Not like the stadiums and stuff, but like the bigger like buildings that could seat like 20,000 people.
Yeah.
Because he had enough faith in his guys. By the way, larger than life characters. And I'm not just talking about Hogan, Andre, Piper, Orndorff, Savage, JYD, Bundy, Stud, Heenan, Fuji, the Bulldogs, Adrian Adonis, Beefcake, Kamala, Jake the Snake, Duggan.
Rashke.
Rashke was
Hard Foundation.
Hard Foundation. These were all larger than life, colorful characters that each, like Hogan was the main sell. Hogan was the guy. But each of these guys played their part in, building up
100%
an event.
If they were in the main event, though, I don't know if it would have worked as much.
Well, yeah, you needed a guy like Hogan and then a top-notch, a top-notch heel that could get a lot of heat, which is what, Savage could do. Orndorff could do. Anybody managed by Bobby Heenan could do.
But like all the wrestling people that are like, Hogan always took that, like let's be honest, in '97, as much as like I loved like some of these guys, if it would have been fucking like Chris Jericho and Dean Malenko in the main event for like a pay-per-view, it wouldn't have fucking drove up as much interest. It just wouldn't have. Not at the time. you would have to build them up a little more and build and do something to do that. Hogan has sold more main events than anybody in the history of wrestling, and sold more tickets that people like. Oh, I'm going to come to see that guy. Like, yes, Austin had a great run. It was a 3-year run altogether.
Yeah.
He was out for 2000. The run is 97, 98, 99, and 2001. So 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he's really on top, like killing it, 98, 99, and 2001.
Right.
97, they're getting on their feet, just starting to make money. But Hogan on top, a combined of like what? Fucking 13, 14 years. For me.
Anybody that will ever top Hogan.
Because they go national in 85, right?
No, 84.
84. So they go national in 84, and he had the big run. And then that basically all the way until 92.
Yeah.
So that's about fucking, what, 8 years?
Yeah, 8 years.
And then you fucking do the WCW 96, 97, 98. So about an 11-year run.
Yeah.
And then you factor in, Icon versus The Rock, which we haven't talked about yet.
Right.
Which is one of the best matches of all time in some people's minds. And that just going – and that just shows how expert Rock and Hogan both are, that Rock's a good guy, Hulk's the heel. Fans are cheering Hulk, booing Rock, so they switch it up on the fly. Rock starts acting heel, and Hulk starts going major babyface and hulking up and shit again. And that was a great fucking match. But he had a lot of those. But yeah, he's definitely sold more tickets than anybody. Do we want
to right?
Final thoughts, or how much longer do you want to go? You got more Hulk shit?
I mean, there's a couple more. There's a couple more things we could talk about.
There's some cool spin-off stuff. Did anybody watch either Hulk Hogan's? Well, I don't even think we can talk about the MCW one, because the first word in that is not allowed anymore.
No, you could say because didn't he change it to micro?
Was it micro wrestling? Okay, but I forgot what it was. But the Hulk Hogan Little People Wrestling League that had a show for a little, when it was a bunch of little people going at it. And that was an interesting watch.
Yeah.
And then he did the celebrity wrestling thing where Danny Bonaducci and Butterbean and the fucking Screech were going at it.
Oh, wow.
And Dennis Rodman ended up as the champion.
Of course.
You know what's funny about that is that people hated that so much, but I liked it.
I thought it was hilarious.
And then, like,
I never even heard this.
You never heard of Celebrity Championship Wrestling?
No.
Yeah. Well, by the way, your camera's frozen right now, so.
Oh.
But no, it was entertaining, and the fact is, CMT wanted to do another season, but Hulk didn't want to because the judge was going to garnish his wages and give the money to Linda.
Yeah.
So he was just like, because they said, they're like, Hulk, you got to pay. He goes, I can't afford to pay. Like, well, you know, you've been offered Celebrity Championship Wrestling. You've been offered, Vince wanted him to come back and work Greg Valentine at WrestleMania. That was a thing.
In what year?
Oh, wait.
Greg the Hammer Valentine?
Yeah, they were going to do a special Legends match with Hogan and Valentine at WrestleMania 24.
What the fuck?
But
why?
again, because they wanted to get Hogan on the card, and they wanted to do like a special Legends. They had been trying to get Valentine back on the WrestleMania scene for like a couple of years. Like, they tried with Hogan, but Hogan had back surgery just so he had a reason to stay laid up and not take the match because he didn't want to give any more money to Linda. And then in 2009, Valentine was supposed to be part of that 3-on-1 against Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
But Chris Jericho realized that Valentine would suck, so he asked for Ricky Steamboat to get put in there.
Well, I mean, I think that one worked out.
Yeah. Gave Steamboat one last run.
Yeah, he looked great.
So, but yeah, like the whole thing with Celebrity Championship Wrestling, it could have been something cool, but the thing is that Hulk was just like, nah. I think if Hulk didn't owe money, he probably would have.
It would have been a funny one.
Yeah.
But those are just fun things that he did. And remember you were talking about Hulk's hoagies earlier?
Oh, yeah. All right. So Eric Bischoff had an idea. They were going to get together with a sandwich shop in Tampa, and they were going to produce Hulk's hoagies. Sandwiches, hoagies.
Yeah.
And they were just basically going to be ham and cheese hoagies. Or two different kinds. It was either going to be ham and cheese or meatball.
Meatball?
Yeah.
They were going to do meatball?
Yeah. And then the sandwich shop they were talking to about that thought this this sounds kind of stupid. So they ended up not doing that.
They didn't do Hulk's hoagies?
They did not. I would have had a Hulk's hoagie. Although when the hell have I ever turned down a hoagie? But that's another story for another time.
You love a good hoagie.
Damn right I do. I mean, I prefer chicken finger sub better, but
yeah. All right. What else we got?
TNA. You want to talk about his brief TNA?
I mean, there wasn't a lot of good in that. Him being kind of...
I still say that TNA thing, he was paid off to go there. He was paid off to go there and ruin TNA.
Yeah,
it started off fine, I guess.
No.
I liked him hanging out with Abyss. That was weird.
That was funny.
He gave him his Hall of Fame ring.
I mean, the first episode didn't the first episode against Raw draw some?
No.
See, here's where it messed up though, because not only did he move to Monday nights, but they showed the replay again on Thursday. So what was the point of him being live on Monday nights if they were going to re-show the whole show on Thursday?
Yeah,
that was TNA for you back in 2010.
I just felt bad they were putting my boy's heel title run, AJ, against WWE. They were getting their asses kicked. There was no way TNA was going to be able to do that in that era.
Oh, go against WWE? No.
There was no way. They were never going to win that battle.
No. I think it worked for like 2 weeks, and then people said, eh.
Yeah, but it never really did a rating.
No.
Not
even the first one? Not even the first show?
No, I mean, Hulk Hogan going to TNA versus Bret Hart returning to WWE after 13 years or 12 and a half years.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Okay. What do you think is going to go over?
Bret.
You have Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart standing in the same ring hugging. You have Hulk Hogan telling Scott Hall and Sean Waltman that them acting like jackasses isn't going to cut it anymore. I think I'd take Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart hugging over.
Yeah.
Scott Hall and Sean Waltman being told that they were drunken fools.
Yep, I remember.
Crazy that all those guys were still on TV in 2000.
Yeah. I'll tell you what really lost me in that whole thing was Bubba the Love Sponge being part of TNA.
Yeah, that sucked. Bubba the Love Sponge's ass, even though he called this whole thing.
Well, and here's the thing. He's the one that originally said that Hulk was in bad spirits.
Yeah.
A lot of Hulk's friends and family, even though Bubba was telling the truth, a lot of Hulk's friends and family think Bubba should set himself on fire and jump off a bridge. So B. Brian Blair, who's been a friend of Hulk's for the last 50 years, they grew up in Tampa, went and checked up on Hulk, knew that Hulk was doing bad, but Hulk said, just tell everybody I'm fine.
Yeah.
Just tell everybody I'm fine. Tell them that Bub is wrong. So he did. But Bubba obviously ended up being right, but nobody gave a shit that he was right. They were just more concerned about Hulk.
I mean, Vince Russo's talking about it, but who cares what that dipshit thinks?
Well, I mean, basically, you can use half a brain to fill the heads of Vince Russo and Bubba the Love Sponge, because the monkeys playing cymbals in their head take up way too much fucking room.
Yeah. Fuck Vince Russo.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite match of all time from Hogan.
Keep saying leg here.
Shut
Wow.
Rock Hogan from 18.
That's your favorite Hulk match ever?
Yeah.
All right. Cleneth?
Man. I will say Andre and Hogan from WrestleMania 3.
Eric?
Hogan and HBK.
That's your favorite?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Shawn Michaels in it. Why are you not surprised?
Yeah, Shawn Michaels is acting like a jackass the whole fucking time. Shawn Michaels is acting like he's on a trampoline the whole match.
How about?
I mean, you can. If that's your favorite. That's your favorite. I don't mean that. I don't want to change your mind.
I just think the obvious reason why it was his favorite, though.
Yes, you did. You're right. You are right. That's his favorite wrestler. I'm gonna go Hulk and Luger from Nitro when Luger won the WCW World Title.
That's a good one.
I really enjoyed it.
I'll say a WCW one. Hogan and Goldberg. That was a great storyline.
That's a great one too.
I mean, Hogan versus Piper from Starrcade, where Piper got the win. That was good too. I mean, they ended up having crap after that, but
people forgot Hogan put a lot of people over.
Yeah. Well, that was to make the guys feel good. The only one he wasn't willing to do that was Warrior, but that's because Warrior did the first went over him first, and Hogan wanted his win back.
Even Hogan Sting, when Sting came back, but I know to finish up.
But the whole thing with Hogan and Warrior was Hogan wanted to work with Warrior and get his win back. It was what happened afterwards when they decided to stop using Warrior. That was on Bischoff. It's not on Hogan.
Yeah. Warrior sucked though, anyway.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why Bischoff said, all right, this match sucked, so you're gone.
All right. Did everyone give their favorite?
Yeah.
Let's do final thoughts. Final thoughts on Hogan, everybody. Eric, you go first.
Hogan changed the industry forever, and he had a great impact on everybody in the industry. Maybe not everybody, but most wrestlers.
I agree.
Oh, that's so funny.
What's happened?
Doug keeps touching me.
No, I keep attempting to touch. You keep intercepting me.
All right.
Oh, God.
Doug, give your final thoughts. You bald prick.
On Hogan, right?
Yeah.
All right.
No, in general. You're done.
Hey. Hogan was not necessarily polarizing. I mean, he was polarizing for a lot of the stuff. outside the business, but inside the business, Hogan was. If it wasn't for him, and I don't give a fuck what Dave Meltzer says, unless Dave Meltzer comes off and says the Young Bucks are really shit, then I'll care. Hulk, if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan agreeing to go over to the WWF when Vince was taking it national, wrestling would not be what it is today.
Yeah.
So Hogan helped create wrestling and make it relevant.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree. All right. Cleneth, final thoughts.
Oh man, mine's. I will say that I will have to piggyback because I do think without Hogan, wrestling won't be what wrestling was. He introduced not only pool that he could be a star power in one company, but two major companies and make them rival each other.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. I think he's probably the greatest WWE champion of all time, if not one of them. I think he's not the greatest WCW champion of all time, but I do think he's probably in the top 10. Hulk Hogan, he is the business. He is wrestling, specifically WWE, and that's why they did 3 tributes for him, because he made a lot of people eat their prayers and say their vitamins. So I said it last.
You say their prayers and eat their vitamins.
I did it on purpose, Cleneth.
Okay, just making sure. I'm like, I know you did not just say that wrong.
I meant to say it. He's the man, and he caused a lot of people to be wrestling fans. And I've probably seen more of Hulk Hogan than any other wrestler.
Yeah.
And I remember him from an early age, brother. And like he's transcended pop culture with Hogan's Knows Best, and and we've just celebrated the career here. Obviously his legacy, people have varying opinions on it. But as a wrestler in his career, in between the ropes in the ring, I think he did a lot for the business. And I know a lot of people think he might have taken a lot. I think he did a lot more than he could have ever taken. He kind of built this shit. As far as there was a lot of factors. There's a lot of people. I know Vince had the vision, but without Hulk, it wouldn't have done as well. And I don't know if it even would have worked. So Hulk Hogan, RIP, and I think he's one of the greatest of all time. And I don't think you can have a Mount Rushmore without him. So he is, he is the wrestling business. And RIP Hulk Hogan. Next week, you want to know what we're doing?
Sure.
Well, why don't you promote the cartoon show first?
Because you got to still think of what we're doing next week?
No, I already know. I just want to give you your plug.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're wearing a Gummy Bears shirt, for God's sakes.
Well, yeah, so technically I already am plugging.
Is that what you're doing tomorrow?
No. So we are finishing up the draft for the Animated Anarchy series. Cleneth, do you know what your team is? What your division is?
No.
All right. Well, would you like me to tell you?
Why not, Doug? Why not? I would have expected you to text me like a while ago, but I guess you probably forgot about it.
I thought I did.
Why not, Doug?
I put Eric in charge of like texting people that he normally contact. I mean, I was gonna put a big post on Facebook about it anyway and tag a bunch of people. But you have 2 animes in Bastard, Heavy Metal, Dark Fantasy, and Black Lagoon. And you also have Police Academy, the animated series, and She-Ra, Princess of Power.
What kind of shows was that?
Well, so you have 2 animes and 2 regular cartoons.
He couldn't give me Dragon Ball Z, something I'm not watch.
It's not me, it's the wheel.
The wheel. They couldn't give me My Hero Academia? Like,
My Hero Academia is actually still on the wheel right now.
see, I'd rather have My Hero Academia.
Well, I can't do anything about it, Clement. That's not what I can't compromise the integrity of the wheel.
The wheel sucks.
Oh.
Moving on. So tomorrow we're going to finish up. We got 9 names left to go, 36 cartoons left to draft for the Animated Anarchy series, and then all the matches are going to start up next week. But yeah, so that's what we're doing tomorrow. Hopefully it won't take us long because, again, we only have 9.
10? Oh, 9.
Huh? 9.
No, 9. Okay.
I know how much is left because I've been keeping, because we had 12 at the end of last week's episode, and I did 3 in my PSA the other day. By the way, 12 minus 3 is 9.
Yeah, I know.
Well, obviously you needed reassurance.
All right, next week, you ready?
Sure.
We're doing Clash of the Champions 6, Raging Cajun. The 2 out of 3 falls match, Ricky Steamboat, Ric Flair.
Nice.
Yeah, that was the same day as WrestleMania 5.
Yes.
Same day as WrestleMania 5, and they had all these matches advertised, but they decided instead of giving us the television title match and the U.S. title match, they decided instead to just have Flair and Steamboat go for an hour.
Yeah. Which is never a bad idea.
Never a bad idea, but the thing is, they never promoted the show on television, which is why they had bad ratings. So George Scott actually got fired as head booker because they never promoted the damn thing.
But all right, we'll see everybody next week for that. Thank you for joining the rest
All
of
right.
the podcast. We love you guys.
Will you be back next week, Cleneth?
I'll try to see. Depending on my schedule.
You'll see.
We should just be happy we got him here tonight. We should just be happy every time he's able to come on.
Yes. I'll have my schedule back sooner or later. It'll be back to normal, hopefully soon. By the time football season starts, I'll have my old schedule back.
Better fucking.
I mean, I'm kissing his ass now because I want him to forgive me over how bad the wheel may have screwed him.
It's okay.
I mean, I don't know if it's going to work or not. But.
All right. We got the go home SmackDown for SummerSlam tonight. We'll see everybody next time. Be back.
Be
All right,
back.
later.
Later.
I'll take care of the shorts.